Good afternoon, my lovely, wonderful, fabulous peoples. It's finally nice outside. I feel like it's been the longest winter of my entire life. And I just wanted to say that. And I'm not gonna keep them on, but it's finally sunny outside. I'm so happy to even have a reason to wear sunglasses. What's up? Anyway, we're gonna see how this goes today. I've got some different earbuds going on that have a microphone. I don't know if it's going to make a difference because I'm telling you, I can't, I don't sense a difference. I don't know if it's working or what, but we'll see. I also have the fan running in my room because it is getting to be a little warm already, which, I'm not complaining, but I tend to get a little animated when I do these videos, and then I start getting hot. And yeah, this one's gonna make me, angry quite a bit, because I kind of, this is one of the cases that's always been in my head. I've gotta cover it, but now, I have a reason, because today, the wicked stepmother from hell is, gonna be starting her court appearance. I'm sure just by those two words, wicked stepmother, you probably know who I'm talking about. If you're one of the true crime people like me that follows every single weird case out there, well, I'm referring to Leticia Stauch. Can't really hide my disgust on this woman, you guys, because she is so horrible as a human being. Anyway, so, where am I going to start? There's a couple things I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, I got some new, I drew some new words over here for the wall. I always had the breathe and the let it be. The let it be, I got that. That's actually Gabby Petito's tattoo that I loved. Suspish, shout out to Miss Bailey Sarian, who was one of my giant, inspirations. I do my own makeup. And I do it before I come on. There's no way I could do two things at once. Are you kidding me? No, I can't do it. But I love the idea of, makeup and murder. That's freaking awesome. And the word suspish, you've heard me drop it here and there, sometimes. And it's just like my little, Bailey. And then, of course, just Jersey Girl. And the last one, of course, is my favorite thing in the whole world to say, what? What? And then I wrote, seriously, what? Underneath it, because, yeah. Every case I talk about at some point, I've got to say that. I can't. Oh, my God. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so I think... And my doctor's thinking, and I don't know for sure, but we're starting to kick around the idea of seasonal depression. I was in such a funk for so long, and once the weather started to change, I just started to feel a little different. I don't know for sure if that's what the hell is wrong with me, but I also just got a phone call on Friday from my new doctor's office telling me that they have my blood work results in, so they're not open today, but I'm gonna call them tomorrow and try and get it in there at the end of this week. Hopefully find out if, I'm dying. I mean, hopefully find out I'm not dying, but I would like to know what the heck is wrong with me, because I just don't feel right, you guys. It's so weird. I'll go, days without doing anything, and then I'll do one small thing, go grocery shopping or spend the day cleaning the house, and the next day I can't get out of bed. I sleep for a whole day, and it's not like I'm doing hard labor. You know what I mean? I don't know what is wrong with me. So, I was kicking around seasonal depression, and also just possibly something to do with my blood. Maybe it's an iron deficiency. I have no idea, but I just hope I'm not dying. Oh, look at this. Excuse you. Hey, not cool. Pardon me. Sorry, you guys. She just thinks she's the star of the show. I mean, I did chase her around the house and tell her she has to come and, make a cameo, but I did not tell her to stand in front of the camera so you can't see me. um, Look at the baby. Oh, hi. Say hello, everybody. Say hello, Jersey Girl True Crime peoples. She is my little sidekick. Um, oh, so I bought this Metallica shirt thinking, oh, it's cool, it's awesome, it's pink, and, I love Metallica, and I was, alive back then, when they were, like, super popular, and I was, like, a real big fan, but then they turned into, like, weirdos over to Napster, and I kind of, like, started to sort of not like them as people, but, I still like the music, and, but anyway, yeah, I saw this on the internet, and I'm like, that's a cool freaking shirt, and let me tell you, I had to cut the sleeves off, because, I mean, you see how it looks like this at the top? Like, that's cute and everything, but the sleeves, look at how big, and this is a small, and it came all the way down my arm, and it was all, like, that size, like, it wasn't even, like, fitted to me, and it had, like, the slits, which looked awesome in the picture, but, it was so stupid, so I had to cut the sleeves off, and I have to wear my VS Pink workout spandex shirt underneath it, so it doesn't look ridiculous. But I felt pink today. Yeah, so I apologize. I'm just blah blah blah. I just wanted to say thank you real quick because I'm getting close to 100 subscribers. I know it's like nothing in the world of new YouTube, but it means a lot to me. Like, it really does. I love every one of you guys. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I don't get a lot of comments yet, but every time I get one, I'm like, yay! So I am really enjoying talking to you guys. And I have had a few people say they want me to kind of do a get to know you kind of video, and I will. I'm just I'm a little nervous about that because I'm not sure how many things I want to put out there into the world. Little things here and there. I'm not single, but I'm not in a relationship either right now. I'm like the embodiment of it's complicated. I am very much in love with Anthony, though. I am. The guy has my heart. We're not together. We're in a situation, they're kind of like in limbo land right now. We do talk every single day, and I have known him since I was 15, and I love him. I will probably always love him, and because of the fact that I love him, I can't see myself with anybody else, and I just don't know where we're going. He's dealing with some health issues of his own right now. Like, when he was younger, he was in a really bad car accident. I'm talking like 20 years ago, and it messed up his back really bad. And like, he's been in pain ever since. But like, back on, I think it was the 987, so like the 6th of March, like a month ago almost, he was supposed to come over, and like, I was waiting for him, and like, he didn't show up, and then I thought he like got in a car accident. I was like panicking because he never shuts his phone off, and his phone was off, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was freaking out. And like, late that evening, he called me, and my phone said the name of the hospital on it. I'm like, oh shit, like, automatically my heart's like, oh my god, what's the matter? Because I knew it was him, because he was supposed to come over and he didn't, and I was just really scared. So yeah, apparently, like, it's gotten so bad, and it just, like, happened. Like, he walked out to the car to come to my house, and, like, he got in the car and, like, actually had to, like, call his mother outside and have her call 911, and the ambulance had to come and, like, basically carry him. They took him to the hospital, put him in a wheelchair, and like, he's got a walker now and like a cane, and his mother's taking him places he needs to go. He can't do much of anything right now, and it's like absolutely fucking heartbreaking to me because I can't help him. Like, I wish that I could, but like, I don't drive, number one. Like, I just don't. It's a long story, but like, it's not that I can't drive. I know how to drive and all that stuff, but like, long story short, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I lived in a city and I didn't have a car and I didn't have a use for a driver's license. I took a bus like everywhere. And then when I came back to New Jersey and I needed a license, I'm like, well, I had been gone so long with no license that they want me to take the test all over again, and like it's just such a hassle. And I still don't have a car. So I'm like, why am I even going to go through all that? Like, I made an appointment to do that stuff and get my license, but then I realized, who's going to take me to like take the test? I don't even have a car. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to try and get that done this like summer coming up, because my parents are snowbirds. They're in Florida half the year and here the other half the year, and they're coming back sometime this month. So I'm going to try and have my mother, take me down there so I can use her car to take the test, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the car and all that crap. But right now, I don't drive, I can't drive, and I can't really do anything for Anthony except for talk to him every day on the phone, try to keep his spirits up, try to keep him happy. I mean, he's been all over the place with his feelings over this, like he's a very athletic, fit, giant, like muscled, gorgeous, like my friends call him arms for days. Like, the dude is freaking gorgeous, and he's always been like a gym person. Like, I'm not like, not like obsessive or anything, but when he was younger he was, but now, like, it's so hard to see him this way, like not being able to walk, of all like it's something that we all kind of take for granted. Like, if you think about it, like, how would you feel if all of a sudden you just one day couldn't walk anymore? It's like, ugh. So they're telling him that he's gonna be able to get a surgery. He's got a consultation coming up in like a week and a half where you're gonna talk to him and explain, how it's gonna work. And I'm a little bit on the terrified side because it is like invasive spinal surgery, but I keep telling myself it can't really get worse than this. I mean, I know technically it could, but like, knock on wood, it's not going to be worse. I have to like keep telling myself medicine has come such a long way. It's not like it's 1980. He's going to be fine and it's going to be better once it's done, but like, it's going to be a long recovery, and it just upsets me, like it really makes me sad. Like, I like seeing him was always him coming to me. Because I don't drive, so I mean, I could go see him, but I'd have to take a bus and all that nonsense. And like, really, it's a strange situation because he lives with his family, and like, I just kind of want to stay away until I'm sure what the hell we're doing. I don't know if I'm going to get back with him. I don't know if I just don't know. But I do know that I can't see myself with anyone else right now. So that was the big question that I wanted to kind of answer, because I have a lot of people that, just ask me, like, am I married, or, like, and I'm not single, but I'm not, I'm not in a, I don't know what the hell I am. I just know that I love him, and I know he loves me too. And he tells me all the time. It's not, we were hot and heavy together for like 2 years, but then we had issues, and it ended for a while, and I just never stopped loving him. And we've been apart now longer than we were together, but in that whole time that we've been apart, I didn't see anybody else, date anybody else, or even look at anybody that way. I just can't do it. Like, he's the only one, he's in my heart, and I'm not a person that can do anything physical with somebody that I don't want to be with that way. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just fool around with somebody that I'm not in love with, which I don't know if that's a good thing or what, but I mean, when I was younger, I could shut it off and like, just do it to do it, but I can't do that anymore. I think the older I get, the more it feels like I need to love somebody to be able to be physical. And joking with him, saying I'm like a virgin again. Yeah. So, all right, let me get to the point here. I'm sorry I'm babbling. Like I said, I wanted to, answer that question, because I get that a lot, like asking me if I'm married and, whatnot. So no, I'm not, and I live with my parents because like I said, they're not here half the year, so I am the one that takes care of their house for, 6 months out of the year, and then I'm the only one here, so it's kind of like I have my own giant house, which isn't bad. Got to admit, it's a swanky situation to be in. I'm in the smallest room in the house, which is funny. I got this whole big house, and I stay right in here. Like seriously, even my daughter came over. We didn't hang out downstairs. We came up here because this is like this tiny room is like my apartment, sort of. I mean, really, I have everything. I'm self-sufficient. I have a cabinet here that's all my food. I have my little fridge. I have my little microwave, my TV, what's it called? It's like a sound system with the box, big woofer. That's what it's called. That's where I listen to my music. I got my beauty section over here with the big mirror and, all my Paris stuff. Because in case you couldn't tell, I'm French. And of course my cardboard husband, who I am in love with. Met him twice. Gorgeous, gorgeous man. Oh, and so nice. I gotta show you guys some photos of the day that I met him. Oh my god. Well, the first day, and then the second time, Anthony was with me. So, let me tell you something. The 5 seconds I was a sandwich between that man and Anthony, oh my god. I think my heart stopped. I was the hottest man in the world sandwich. Alright. So, we're going to talk about this bitch who, she's starting her trial today and pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, but I mean, she's a crazy bitch, yeah, but she's not insane. Nope, sorry, don't believe it. She's just a horrible person who is trying to get out of a life sentence, which I sort of hope she gets the death penalty, to be completely honest, because what a whore, and what a horrible, horrible thing that she did. What I'm doing here, instead of reading from an article, I actually have her probable cause affidavit up here. It is 32 pages long, so I'm not going to read you guys the entire thing, but I'm going to, tell you the highlights of the crime, like what she did. And the freaking lies this woman told to the police, oh my god, they are so out there and so obviously a crock. Like, I personally would hate to be the cop that had to listen to this stupidness, because these lies that she told were so stupid and out there. Like, they were so obviously lies. Like, if I was that cop, I would probably have to, like, literally be like this the whole time, because to keep myself from, like, laughing my ass off. Maybe they were wearing COVID masks. That would have been helpful. Wow. Alright. So, let me see where the best part. I actually had to use my tablet for this because the print is so small that I couldn't, like, I usually use this, which is my old phone. But it's the problem, like, this isn't gonna work, I need a bigger screen. So yeah. Alright, let me see. Okay, so the charges that are against her right now. First of all, the person that's writing this is Jessica Bethel. She is a police officer and detective with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. And she's been there since 2010. She says she's been involved in investigations like homicide, child abuse, weapons violations, assaults, and other violations. This is Colorado. Seem like, fucking Chris Watts. Yeah, so she says she's submitting the following facts to demonstrate probable cause. That on or about January 27th, 2020, the defendant, Leticia Stauch, now that's Stauch, I believe it's pronounced Stauch, that's how everybody, like all the reporters pronounce it. It says also known as Leticia Harden. She committed the following offenses: murder in the first degree of a child under 12, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. Now, the victim in this case was her stepson. Adorable little kid named Gannon Stauch. Um, Now, I remember when Gannon first went missing and it was all over the news. Like, I was, of course, praying that he was going to be found, but I kind of. Let me tell you something. She did this interview, like, shortly after this, like, all started, and, she wouldn't. Her fucking back was to the camera. Who does that? She, like, that's I'm like, this woman's guilty. She won't even look at the camera because she knows that if we see her face, we're gonna see right through her and know that she's, freaking a murderer. Like, we're gonna know that she's lying. I think that's why she did it that way. Alright. The facts in this affidavit come from personal observations, training, and experience. Much of this was prepared by FBI agent Cohen, but I've reviewed the below facts carefully. Blah, blah, blah. Investigators have executed physical search warrants and collected evidence from vehicles. My shit's frozen. Sorry, guys. I apologize, because now I'm, like, scrolling, and it was stuck, and now it's going too far. This is why I, like, kind of hate this tablet. But I can make small talk. Alright. Okay, so the Stauch family is a blended family, and all will be discussed at various points below. Here's an overview of the family. Father is Eugene or Al Stauch. I don't know why they would call somebody Al if his name's Eugene, but whatever. Stepmother, of course, Leticia. Leticia's daughter is Harley Hunt, and she's 17, and she's Leticia's daughter, but not Al's daughter. And then Gannon, who is the one who's deceased, he was 11, and he's Al's child, but not Leticia's. And then there's Lena Stauch, who was 8 years old at the time, also just Al's child, not Leticia's. Then there's also 5 vehicles that will be mentioned in the affidavit. Red Nissan Frontier, which is Al's main vehicle. Black Volkswagen Tiguan, which is Leticia's main vehicle. A white Volkswagen Jetta, which is Harley's main vehicle. And then a silver Nissan Altima, which was rented by Leticia's aunt, and used by Leticia from January 30th to February 1st after the Tiguan was seized by the police. And then the last one is a white Kia Rio, which was a rental car rented by Leticia January 28th to 29th. And there was no, like, reason for that, but I'll tell you why she did it, because it's obvious. Alright, so Leticia, her birthday's 8/4/83, and she was the last known person to see 11-year-old Gannon alive. Now, Gannon was born on September 29th, 2008. Leticia is the stepmother. At the time, she was employed by School District 20 as an assistant teacher, and she is no longer employed there. Shocking, right? I can't believe they even let this woman around children. Ugh. Alright, so the cop was able to locate a prior criminal history for Leticia, and that was in North Carolina. She was convicted for communicating threats, a misdemeanor, but she was not able to get, like, sentencing information. She was also convicted of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and she actually did 45 days in jail. Now, although not criminal in nature, she was able to figure out that Leticia's teaching certificate was suspended in 2016 because she had filed unsubstantiated, wow, that's a hard word, claims of harassment and retaliation. And that it was a breach of her contract. So they only looked at the criminal history to give background for the court. Now, all right. So Al, Gannon's dad, was deployed with the National Guard during the dates of January 25th to January 28th. So he was not even in town when Gannon was murdered. So Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25th and departed via commercial airline on January 26th, returning on January 28th. So yeah, it just says that he's cooperated fully and they were able to corroborate all of that information. All right, so let's see. So Monday, January 28th to Wednesday, January 29th. Investigators have taken independent steps to corroborate information received through the investigation, and in most circumstances they have video footage, cellular communication, location records, security system records, and other records to support the below claims. The summary action is only meant to give the court an overview of the investigation. On January 27th, 2020, at about 6:55 p.m., Leticia Stauch reported Gannon missing after calling 911. During that call, she was instructed... Sorry, guys. Again, I got stuck. She was instructed to call the El Paso County non-emergency line. In summary, Leticia stated that Gannon was supposed to be at home about an hour ago and she was unable to locate him at his friend's house. Her story dramatically changed multiple times over the next couple of days. As will be discussed below, investigators do not believe Leticia went to any neighbors' houses looking for Gannon, and that was just one of the many lies that she told during the investigation. She was unable to provide the actual location of the homes that she went to and the names of Gannon's friends he was supposed to be playing with. She also didn't know the names of the friends' parents, because he wasn't with friends. It's a complete lie. And then, let's see... Deputies responded to Leticia's residence, which was 6627 Mandan Drive, Mandan, in Colorado Springs, and were unable to locate Gannon. Deputies conducted a limited search of the residence, took a report from Leticia. Some of the interactions between the responding deputies and Leticia were captured on body camera. A missing person investigation was initiated and in the coming days developed into a murder investigation. A tip line was established and investigators received hundreds of tips and leads from the public by virtue of emails and telephone calls. As part of this tip line, 2 ransom notes were received by email demanding money in the form of Bitcoin. Now this is weird, and I don't know if this was Leticia or just some random whack job, but yeah, 2 different emails came in from invisible people saying they had Gannon and they wanted a ransom. That's really strange, because it doesn't really say much more about that. Just investigators took steps to validate the ransom notes, including resolving and geolocating the internet protocol IP addresses from the email headers and requesting subscriber information that hosted the IP addresses, and one of the ransom notes was sent from a foreign-based email account that is accessible by multiple individuals, probably like a library, and then investigators were unable to trace the user IP of the other one, so they just determined that they were fraudulent and strictly designed as a scheme to get money. Leticia initially claimed that she last saw Gannon on January 27th, when he left to play with friends around 15:15, that's what, 3:15? But, because of that, they're saying that she was obviously the last person to see him. She sent her daughter, Harley, to look for him at a park. She lied to the investigators on multiple occasions and has unexplained abnormal behavior, such as obtaining a rental car, disconnecting her cell phone from the cellular network for an extended period of time, like putting it in airplane mode or shutting it off altogether. Now I'm telling you something. People think that that's covering their tracks, but it just makes them look like they're hiding something. Because you don't fucking put your phone in airplane mode for no reason. Like, duh. Quite honestly, I'm beginning to really believe that getting away with murder just doesn't happen anymore. It's literally impossible. So if you're thinking about it, don't do it. For real. Just don't do it. Oh, yeah, so she also false reported an alleged rape, abnormal patterns of travel, a continuously evolving story with material changes in facts and circumstances, and also left the state of Colorado. These actions, when combined with other facts, support the totality of probable cause and will be discussed. So let's see. Now, this is what they've learned about Leticia's activity on January 27th, the period of time when Gannon was likely murdered. Okay. Investors believe that Gannon was murdered by Leticia in the afternoon hours after 2:15 and on January 27th, 2020, at the residence, and more specifically in his bedroom. Physical evidence recovered from the residence and inside Gannon's bedroom supports that a violent event occurred in his bedroom, which caused bloodshed, including blood spatter on the walls and enough blood loss to stain his mattress, soak through the carpet pad, and the concrete below underneath the bed. Some photographs of this evidence is included, and there are photos in this because it's a copy of a copy of a copy, it's basically black. You can't see it, but I think I can find it on the internet, and if I can, I will put it in the corner up here when I'm doing the editing, so you'll be able to see. I'm going to put as many pictures as I can find, like I always do, but just letting you know. So, based on evidence recovered from the residence, Gannon's remains were eventually brought through the house into the garage and likely loaded into the back of her Volkswagen Tiguan. Now, that's a VW, SUV. I mean, in case you guys didn't know. Because I didn't know. I'm like, what the hell's a Tiguan? I had to look it up. They're nice. I drove a convertible Beetle for a while, and oh god, I love Volkswagens. Shh, they're Nazi cars, but oh god, I love them! Alright. The cars, not the Nazis. I just realized how that sounded. Okay. So, after cleaning the murder scene, Leticia utilized the Tiguan to transport and dump Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28th. She likely disposed of his remains off Highway 105 South, Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. The Metro Crime Laboratory determined that blood discovered in Gannon's bedroom and the Stauch garage, and blood on a piece of particle board located off the highway there in that area, all had a match to Gannon's DNA. So yeah, let me say that one more time. They found blood in the bedroom, in the garage, and on a piece of particle board that was left there on the side of the highway. So at some point she dumped Gannon's body there. She moves it though. Crazy bitch. But not insane bitch. Crazy bitch, not legally insane. In my opinion. I think you're gonna be there with me though, as I go on reading this, because wow, you guys, woohoo. And what a bitch. Alright. So on Monday, the day of, Gannon stayed home from school. Based on text messages from Leticia to Mr. Stauch, the dad, Gannon was up most of Sunday evening with a stomach problem. Leticia told the Gannon's school, the Grand Mountain Elementary School, that Gannon would be absent on Monday. Investigators were able to verify that Gannon was marked as an excused absence that day. Leticia also told Al that, "I'm just going to give them an excuse at work and stay home with him." And then she did come up with an excuse and told her employer via text message at 4:37 in the morning that her stepdad was killed after being hit by a car. What? What? There it is, you guys. The first what of this case. Why couldn't you just say your stepson's sick and you can't go to work? Why did she have to kill her stepfather? People like this. Ugh. And you know, I was a manager for a while at a hotel, and I swear to God, some of the excuses people came up with, like this one girl, I swear to God, her whole family died. At some point. It was always, this one's dead, I gotta go to this funeral and that funeral, and of course, the funerals were never planned. It was always like, she had to call out of work because of a funeral. Why didn't you tell me that they were gonna have a funeral? I would have given you off. I hate people like that. Apparently this bitch was like that. So anyway, yeah, her stepdad died. Apparently. Alright, so other electronic evidence, such as time and date stamped photographs and videos, were recovered from her phone that indicate that Gannon was likely still alive during the morning of January 27th. Images were taken on Leticia's cell phone at about 8:13 in the morning, and then at 8:17 in the morning, showing Gannon sleeping in his bed. On a particular note, or of particular note, his Nintendo Switch is visible in the photo lying next to him in the bed. Now that's how I sleep with my phone. Like my phone right next to me. So I get it, Gannon. You know, like sometimes you just need that thing right there with you. And little boys, you know, and their video games is like me and my phone, I think. Let's see. So, now, Mr. Stauch has said that the Switch was of high importance to Gannon, and of course it was. And to date, they still have not found this Switch. It should also be noted that Leticia used her phone the following day at about 12:57 to conduct a Google search. Oh, these Google searches will get you every damn time people put down Google. Just saying, if you're gonna kill somebody, don't ask Google about it, right, Brian Walsh? Fucking weirdo. Oh my God. His Google searches, you guys. Woo! Oh, yeah, that's another case. But if you know what I'm talking about, Anna Walsh, her husband killed her, and oh my God, he might as well have just, you know, like, confessed because he told Google everything. Oh, people are so stupid. Alright. So yeah. She asked Google, "Can Nintendo find my Switch?" Duh. And learned, sorry. I apologize. I had spit go down the wrong way. Yeah, that's gross. So she found out that, the Switch doesn't have any sort of tracking ability, so I guess she felt like she could just dispose of it, and, it wouldn't, she was probably gonna dump it with Gannon's body, and she wanted to make sure that they didn't, like, search for the Switch and have it lead them to Gannon. That's what I think, and what, you know, anybody else who's read this is gonna think. Oh, and also it was, it says she used the missing Switch to help deceive law enforcement into searching for Gannon as a possible runaway. Oh, yeah, because he ran away and took his Switch with him. So, yeah. Ugh. This bitch and her lies. Alright, so ultimately, investigators located video surveillance from a neighbor's surveillance camera that showed what investigators believe to be Leticia and an individual that looks like Gannon depart the residence in the Nissan Frontier at about 10:16 on January 27th. That's the guy's car, right? The dad's car? Yeah. Because he was away. The video was several homes away, or the camera several homes away, so it doesn't provide clear enough images to make positive identifications, but the vehicle returned about 14:19 hours, what's that, 2:19 in the afternoon, and Leticia got out of the vehicle. After viewing the video, I can't be sure if another person exited it or not, but I submit Gannon likely did return home with Leticia, probably got out on the passenger side, and the camera was down the street, obviously wouldn't show that side of the car. And he's a boy, so he's shorter than the roof of the car, I would think. Because it's a SUV, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. These times corroborated by data collected by the ADT security system, which is in the Stauch residence. Based on the data returned from the ADT system, the motion detectors in the living room or the basement did not register any activity from 10:12 when Leticia and Gannon enter the home. 10:12 until Leticia and Gannon enter the home at 2:22. 14:22 is 2, right? Yes. Investigators confirmed Lena to be at school and confirmed that Harley was at work. As such, investigators believe there was likely nobody else in the residence besides Leticia and Gannon. Alright, so that's the little sister of Gannon, Al's other kid, and Harley is Leticia's daughter, and she was at work. So the little one was at school, and the older one was at work. Leticia's historical cell site information detailed information about her iPhone status and a text message sent to Harley from Gannon's cell phone support that Leticia left her phone at the Stauch residence the morning of January 27th. The fact that she left her phone at home is suspicious on its own, based on her history of extensive use of the phone. So that's another thing she did that was shady. Like, because she took her phone everywhere with her, and all of a sudden she just doesn't have it with her when she goes to run errands. That's crazy. On January 27th, there was a message sent from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone that reads, "Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me." And that was at 10:37. Investigators were able to confirm, based on video surveillance footage and purchase receipts, that Leticia went to Petco at 5020 North Nevada Avenue in Colorado Springs. The Petco is 22 miles from the residence and is a 30-minute drive. The receipt shows that Leticia completed her purchase at 11:22, and Gannon is not visible in any of the video. Did she leave him in the car? Weird, right? Leticia's whereabouts are not known from 11:22 to 1:22. At 1:22, she's again captured on video. Making a second purchase at Petco again. She left and went back to the same Petco. That's fucking weird. And Mr. Stauch sent a message to Gannon's cell phone at 12:06 that said, "Hey buddy, this message was not answered until 1:21, and the response was, 'Can I play Zelda at least?' And Mr. Stauch said, 'Not today.' So I don't know if he was grounded or what the deal is, but that's asking to play video games. And I don't even know if that was actually him, because that might have been the bitch using his phone trying to make it seem like it was him, because I'm not sure that he was even still alive at that point. A significant event occurred on Gannon's phone at about 13:43, which is 1:43, prior to arriving back at the Stauch residence. There was an internet search for, "Can my parent find my cell phone if it is off?" Hello? Now that, I think, was also Leticia on his phone, trying to make it look like, again, like he was going to run away and take his phone, and like he was asking Google if his parents could find him. Come on. Like, a little kid's really going to do that? I fucking doubt it. So the cop says, "I submit that this internet search was probably done by Leticia on Gannon's phone, not Gannon himself, based on the content of the search and the way that the search items are phrased, and the presence of a period in between the words phone and if. This is very similar to the way Leticia conducts searches on her phone. Like, the period, she apparently in a bunch of her text messages, that's like the period's in there because she types fast and sometimes hits that instead of the space bar. I do that too. Not necessarily with a period, but I usually catch myself and go backspace and fix it because I'm, speaking of Nazis before, I'm a grammar Nazi. Like, seriously, like, grammar and spelling, if I send a text message with a typo in it, I have to correct myself immediately. I will always retype it and put stars around the word that I messed up. Because I'm just like that. It's me. It's not the people I'm sending the text to. They could care less. It's all me. I'm like fucking weird that way. I don't know why. I'll just do that. Alright. Oh, and also the fact that it says my parent, singular. The cop thinks that's weird too. Because why would he say, "Can my parent find my phone"? Why not parents? Ugh, this tablet's driving me nuts, you guys. It keeps on. Chrome is not responding. Reddit is not. I'm not trying to use Reddit. Stop it. But the pop-ups are making me nuts. Okay. The cop here. I conducted a search of "Can my parent find my cell phone if it is off?" and learned that the first answer returned in the search engine is, "The answer to your question depends on what method is being used to track your phone." Gannon's phone was found at the residence. I submit that Leticia did not get rid of Gannon's phone for fear it might be traceable. That's probably true. So the Nissan Frontier returned to the Stauch residence at 14:20 hours. That's 2:20, right? Yes. A search warrant authorized by this court was executed on the Frontier and found no indications of blood inside the vehicle. Yeah, that's his car. She wasn't going to go and, be that stupid. I mean, she's stupid, but she did do a couple of things that... it's obvious that she was trying to, fake stuff and make stuff look a certain way, even though they weren't that way. Like, she was trying too hard in some situations, because you're like, what, bitch? Really? And I apologize, I can't stop eating these. You ever have Swedish fish and friends? Oh my freaking god. So good. Alright, so Leticia had been without her phone for hours, yet her screen was not unlocked until approximately 2:45, which is 25 minutes after arriving back at the house. During that 25-minute period, there was motion activity both upstairs and downstairs on the ADT records. Lena returned home from school, that's the little one, at 3:15. During a recorded forensic interview with investigators, Lena stated that when she returned home, Leticia told her Gannon was asleep in her bed. What? That she could not see him. Leticia told Lena to go outside and play. I submit that Lena was sent outside because Gannon was likely dead and Leticia was cleaning up blood from inside the house, which I believe is absolutely true. It's fucking horrible, but I think it's true. This lady. Alright. So, at about 3:55, Mr. Stauch sent another message to Gannon's phone that said, "Hey, buddy." And this message wasn't read until 7:40 p.m. It is likely that Gannon was already murdered by Leticia, and at the time Mr. Stauch sent this message, he was, already gone. So, based on exterior video footage, Harley arrived at the residence in her white VW Jetta at about 16:42. So that's what, 4:42, and picked up Lena. At about 4:52, Leticia sent a text message to Harley requesting carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda. That's some murdery, cleanup-y stuff right there. Just saying. Now, I'm also just want to put out there that I don't believe that Harley herself had anything to do with this. She did not know what was going on. Like, that thing there was her being used by her mother to be an accomplice. She didn't know that's why she was buying that stuff. Obviously, she's just a kid. 17, I think. Willow. No. She's a good girl. She's scratching her scratching post, but it's so loud. Hi, baby. Come here. What are you doing? Hello. Are you cooing like a pigeon? Hi. You want to come say hello to everybody? Come here. Come say hi. What? What are you doing? She's not, like, she's staring at me, but she doesn't seem to want to come visit you guys just yet. Till she tries to stand right in front of my camera. Like, stands up on the table that it's on. Alright. So, Harley has refused to speak to the investigators. Now, I believe the reason why is because her mother won't let her. I don't think that she, like, if the cops asked her, can we interview you? And she was able to say yes, I think she would have. I don't even know who she is, really. I don't know her or nothing. But, like, I'm pretty sure it was her mom saying, nope, you're not going to give an interview. I don't want you to. Investigators do not believe that Harley was present when Gannon was killed. Harley was at work from 8:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m., and investigators were able to verify this. To be clear, investigators have not located any evidence that any person other than Lena and Leticia had access to Gannon between 10 a.m. and 5:34 on January 27th. So just the three of them were the only people that were around or near Gannon, and it was not Lena and it was not Harley that harmed him, obviously. Alright. So, it says that the cop here has reviewed body-worn cameras, footage, and reports from a deputy that responded to the residence, and Leticia provided verbal consent for them to search the house to look for Gannon. By way of the timeline, this was at 22:09, so 3 hours after she called 911. That's a long time before they but it's called in as a non-emergency, as a runaway, so I guess they wouldn't rush. Plus, it's a, like, Colorado City is a pretty big city, I believe. I think. So, I'm sure they can't just jump for little things, Hi, everybody. So, hello. Here I am. I'm a pain in mommy's butt, but I'm a very cute one. I got her, you guys. I got her. Here's the tail. What are you doing? Want to say hello? Say hi, guys. I'm a movie star kitty. Yes, I am. I'm gonna be a famous kitty cat. Oh, and there's my pretty tail. Swish, swish, swish. Oh, my. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? Swish, swish, swish. Alright, I'm sorry. She distracts me. She's so damn cute. Alright. Okay. So, from the body-worn camera, the Volkswagen Tiguan, which is, Leticia's car, was backed into the garage, and the position of the Tiguan in the garage is significant because of the confirmed presence of Gannon's blood in the garage, which was underneath the area where the rear hatch of the Tiguan would be, and the positive reaction of the Blue Star reagent indicates the likely presence of blood on the rear bumper of the Tiguan. Responding deputies also searched in Gannon's basement bedroom and have viewed images of Gannon's bedroom taken by the body-worn camera. There's also pictures that she put on here, and again, you can't see them. They're like black. Just like I said, because it's like a copy of a copy of a copy, so all you're left with is like ink. And it's just like black. Like, you see how you can't really see it? Okay. Another photo was recovered from Leticia's cell phone that shows his bed was not pushed directly against the wall by the head of the bed. The photo articulates the ability for blood to get onto the walls and the floor in the corner of the bedroom. So, Mr. Stauch stated that the positioning of the bed is unusual and the bed is usually pushed against the wall. So yeah, after she did all of her, crime scene cleaning, she put the bed back in a weird position because she was still trying to hide the fact that she had cleaned. And yeah, there's another photo that you can barely see, and I think that's the picture of him in the bed. Because she took a picture of him that morning at like 8 o'clock. I think she probably sent that to the dad, saying, oh, look, he's sleeping, because he didn't feel good the night before, apparently. So she let him stay home from school and all. Mr. Stauch spent the night in Denver on January 25th and flew out of Denver International on January 26th. Investigators were able to corroborate that he traveled to Dallas, Texas, and ultimately to Oklahoma based on his flight records. On the morning of January 28th, shortly after Leticia's... Sorry, again, she's so cute. Shortly after Leticia rented the vehicle, Leticia and Mr. Stauch drove back to their residence from the airport in the rented Kia. The timing of the rental of the Kia is suspicious, and combined with forensic evidence later obtained from the Tiguan and discussed below, tends to place additional importance on why Leticia felt compelled to rent a vehicle that morning. Investigators located no evidence that the Tiguan was not mechanically functioning or noted any reason why it would not have been physically driven. In fact, the Tiguan remained parked in the Colorado Springs airport. Colorado Springs. I said Colorado City before. I'm sorry, you guys. Duh. I meant Colorado Springs. I'm an idiot. I apologize. So anyway, it was in the short-term parking lot until 7 o'clock on January 28th. Leticia told her husband that she was concerned about putting mileage on her Tiguan, which justified the vehicle rental. What? Again, I say, what? She really rented that car because she had to pick up dude from the airport, and Gannon's body was in the back of her car. I guarantee you that's why. Hey guys, so I'm back for apparently part 2 because little Miss Fluffy Butt, and I don't know how the heck she did it, but somehow my camera just stopped recording. So I put a little note in my community tab for you guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out how to smush them together into one file, so I might have to do a part 1 and part 2, which I didn't want to do, but I'm going to try and get them edited and uploaded at the same time, so it won't be like you have to watch one and then wait 100 years for the second one, because it'll take a long time for the second one to upload. The first one will go, and then it'll take the second one a little while, but the first one's already an hour long, so at least you won't have to wait forever. So, where I was when I got cut off was I was talking about the fact that Leticia had rented that Kia, and she used it to pick up Al from the airport, and I told him that it was because she didn't want to put miles on her Tiguan, which is ridiculous because she only ended up driving that vehicle for 71 miles, it said. Is this? Yeah, okay, it's on. For a minute, I'm like, is this even on? It's on. And actually, when I was, since I got cut off, I played a little bit of the first part of this, and the microphone does seem to be making a little bit of a difference. So, that made me kind of glad. Although I did have the headphones in when I was listening to it, so I'm not sure. I'll know for sure once we're all good to go and I'm watching myself on my television, which I'll be doing that at the same time you guys are. Alright, so investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant for the Kia Rio. They did a search of the vehicle. They found a spot of blood in the trunk. They tested the blood, and it came back that it was from two people. But the DNA testing couldn't be confirmed. They weren't sure how old that blood was, and I can't remember if I said this in the first part. If I did, I'm sorry, but I don't think I did. I mean, I said it, but I'm pretty sure that was after the camera shut off. If not, I apologize for repeating myself. Alright, so, like I said, they weren't sure about the blood because the DNA was too degraded to come back with like a conclusive result. They just managed to say it was definitely from two people, but they couldn't determine which two people. And it is a rental car, so it might not even be from the investigation. However, there was blood in her vehicle, the Tiguan, which I'm about to get to. So, the Volkswagen is important to the investigation because the investigators believe the Tiguan was used to transport the remains of Gannon from the Stauch residence to a location where the body was dumped. The definitive location of the Tiguan is unknown to investigators during the time period of 7:02 p.m. on January 28th to 12 noon on January 29th. Investigators believe Leticia dumped Gannon's remains on the evening of January 28th and utilized the Tiguan to do so. The Tiguan was seized from Leticia on the 29th. Leticia had a scheduled interview with the investigators on January 29th in downtown Colorado Springs. When she arrived at about noon, she was driving the Tiguan. Investigators noticed that the vehicle was wet and appeared to have been recently cleaned. I mean, obviously, she went and cleaned the shit out of that vehicle. But thanks to luminol, you can't quite get rid of all the blood, bitch. You just can't do it that way. Like I was saying earlier, just don't murder people. I'm telling you, you can't get away with it anymore. You just can't. So, stop trying. Alright. So, yeah, oh, and she was supposed to be there at 10. She didn't get there until 12 for her interview. Now, investigators noted that the vehicle was wet, appeared to have been recently cleaned. I submit that Leticia had to clean the vehicle because there was likely visible blood on the rear end based on the below luminol reactions. Indeed, video footage was recovered that shows a partial view of a car wash located at East Platte Avenue and Bonfoy Avenue in Colorado Springs. The video captured a portion of a black SUV consistent with the Tiguan on or about 11:30 on the 29th at the car wash. The time and location are consistent with raw data obtained from the Tiguan's computer system, described in more detail below. Investigators applied for a search warrant for the Tiguan, which was seized from Leticia at her interview and towed to the evidence facility. On or about February 1st, the FBI Evidence Response Team, or ERT, conducted a search of the Tiguan. In summary, the forensic portion of the search revealed a possible trace of blood in the rear of the vehicle, a rear passenger seat, front passenger seat, and area near the glove box, based on luminol forensic latent bloodstain reagent tests. Swabs from the trunk area were sent to the Metro Crime Laboratory for further analysis. These results revealed that a DNA profile could not be developed and that the swab from the trunk was negative for the presence of blood. To be clear, luminol is a chemical used to detect trace amounts of blood at crime scenes, and although I do not have a chemical or biology background, I have learned that luminol reacts with iron and hemoglobin found in blood. When applied, luminol emits a blue glow when a reaction occurs. I am also aware that there are things other than blood that could cause a reaction, such as other chemicals, and I do not submit that just because luminol reacted with a substance, that the substance must be blood, and only that there is a strong possibility of suspected blood. The positive reaction to luminol is meant to be combined with other facts in this affidavit in support of the probable cause. Several areas of the Tiguan reacted to the luminol, as mentioned before. Specifically, the search team found evidence of suspected blood on the rear bumper, the step plate of the rear bumper. The location of the blood is significant because the vehicle was backed into the garage at Leticia's residence the day Gannon was murdered. The search of the residence is discussed below, but is noted that the evidence of Gannon's blood based on DNA profile was also located on on the floor of the garage, consistent with where the rear end of the Tiguan would have been. A photo is included below to demonstrate the reaction of the luminol, blah, blah, blah. However, it's again just a black, you can't really see at all. Now, it's actually a photo of the glowing luminol, so it's probably a dark photo to begin with. Within the Tiguan, a receipt from a dollar store was located, timestamped January 27th at 5:14, and documented the purchase of trash bags, baking soda, vinegar, and the items listed in paragraph 74. Investigators believe Harley purchased these items at the direction of Leticia, based on the following text message sent from Leticia's cell phone to Harley's cell phone on January 27th at 4:52. You know, carpet powder, 2 things, baking soda, and trash bags, which we talked about earlier for a second. Also included in this dollar store purchase was baby oil, baby lotion, cotton rounds, and bubble gum. Investigators do not believe the other items were involved in the cleaning of the murder scene and likely have no investigative value at this point. Obviously, it was bubble gum and shit. It was just Harley, and she, I think, had the little girl with her. Maybe she probably bought the gum for the kid. I know from personal experience that baking soda and vinegar are common household items that can be used to clean blood. Additionally, I conducted open source internet searches for that revealed vinegar is the most common item used to clean blood stains, and that when baking soda is applied to blood stains prior to vinegar, it has an efficient effect in removing them. While the purchase of items such as vinegar and baking soda is common and in no sense illegal on their own, the timing of the purchase of these items and Gannon's suspected murder are beyond coincidental. Now, this is like the physical stuff. You guys, just wait until I get to the fucking lies. Oh my god, this woman. She is ridiculous. And she's like, she gives too much information, like trying to make herself sound innocent, but in doing so, she makes herself sound so much more guilty. You'll see what I mean. Alright. Also located was a parking receipt for the airport that documented that Tiguan was brought into the short-term parking lot on or about 8:30 and left on or about 19:02 on January 28th. On January 29th, Leticia returned the Kia at 9 o'clock, and she was picked up by someone driving a white Jetta. That's probably Harley, of course. That was her car. Investigators were able to download telematics and stored electronic data from the Tiguan. A more in-depth exploitation of the Tiguan's electronic systems, more specifically its historical locations, were developed and will be discussed below in more detail. Investigators were able to determine some of the locations of the Tiguan on the evening of January 28th, including its location in the area of Highway 105, South Perry Park Road in Douglas County. That's where they found that particle board with Gannon's blood. Investigators also served a search warrant to AT&T, designated to the Tiguan's CarNet feature. CarNet. AT&T responded to the search warrant and provided network event location systems data that would give us an estimated location of the Tiguan. The data revealed that during the evening of January 28th, between 8:30 and 10:20, the Tiguan was generally in the greater northwest portion of Colorado Springs, and likely also in an area of the Air Force Academy and southern Douglas County. I submit that during this time period, investigators believe that is when Leticia disposed of Gannon's remains. The first time. Of note, during the time period between 8:30 and 10:20, Harley's cell phone is connected to a tower that would service the Stauch residence over approximately 30 miles away from Leticia's suspected location. There was an activity on Harley's telephone during that time, and investigators do not believe that Harley was with Leticia when she disposed of the body. However, at approximately 22:26, those 10:26, Harley's cell phone leaves the Stauch residence and goes to the area of Powers and Carefree, where investigators suspect she picked Leticia up. Okay. Here comes the ridiculous stories, you guys. Wow. Okay. Leticia voluntarily came to the EPSO for an interview with investigators, but only after she was evasive and avoided speaking with investigators one-on-one. Her interview was audio and video recorded, and the below information includes her own statements as well as investigation geared towards corroborating those statements. In general, her own statements are reasonably categorized as untruthful, incomplete, and misleading. Leticia was supposed to arrive at 10 a.m. on January 29th, but did not arrive until noon. Although she spoke with investigators on the phone several times, she did not want investigators coming to her home and was difficult to track down at best. Investigators provided food and water to Leticia during the interview. Of interest, Leticia brought several pieces of notebook paper with her that contained notes she had written down. During the interview, she referred to these pieces of paper and asked investigators if she could just read her notes. Investigators were not able to seize these documents. I have conducted hundreds of interviews of subjects, victims, and witnesses. It is extremely rare for an individual to bring notes to an interview. Bitch gotta make sure she tells her lies correctly. You guys, it is horrible. Just wait. Okay, this is where it gets great. I mean, bad, but great. I can't believe this shit. So much drama, and what a crazy bitch. Okay. Leticia drastically departed from her initial statements given to the deputies regarding the report of Gannon's disappearance. In summary, Leticia said she had been held at gunpoint and raped by a Hispanic male she knew as Eduardo, and that Gannon was abducted by that male after he finished raping her. You know what I'm going to say, right? What? Oh my God, you guys. The interviewing detectives believed her statements were false based on prior experience investigating sexual assault cases. Leticia said she arrived home at around 14:30, so that's 2:30, on January 27th, and she said she disarmed her security system and then went into the basement. She said that Eduardo was in the basement, he attacked her, and pointed a gun at her. She said that after Eduardo had held her at gunpoint, he allowed her to go upstairs to greet her stepdaughter. That's Lena. And it says that, her birthday is January 22nd, 2012. She had just arrived home from school. Leticia said she sent her outside to ride her bike and then returned to the basement where Eduardo vaginally penetrated her against her will from 3:30 to 4:30. Eduardo raped her for an hour. Homeboy has some stamina. I'm sorry. It's so fake. Oh, Lord. During this period, she believed that she hit her head and blacked out. Investigators noted no injuries on her head during the contact with her. Can I just say, what rapist is going to be like, oh, yeah, put your pants back on, go upstairs and tell her to go ride her bike, and then get back down here so I can finish raping you? And what rape victim is gonna not run to the neighbor's house and call the cops? This woman, you guys, is a fucking lunatic. And I mean a lunatic in the fact that the shit she does is crazy, and the shit she makes up is crazy. She's not insane, she's just a fucking whack job. Oh, Lord. Okay. It gets better, too, okay? Leticia said that during the attack, Gannon jumped on Eduardo's back, and Eduardo was able to throw Gannon off his back and across the room. After Eduardo had finished, he had the gun held to Gannon and demanded a suitcase. Put your pants on and get me a suitcase, bitch. Or, what? I'm sorry, with a really thick Spanish accent. Oh, fuck. Alright. Give me a suitcase. Yeah. So Leticia gave him a brown suitcase in a cardboard box. Eduardo attempted to sexually assault her again, because the hour wasn't enough. But she hit her head and blacked out again. I just don't even know what to say to that. She was just such a fucking liar. Yeah, I like how she threw the suitcase in there, because Gannon was found in a suitcase. So, yeah. Oh my god. Alright. So, Leticia stated that she tried to fight Eduardo off, but was unsuccessful. I know from training and experience that if an individual holds another person at gunpoint, he or she would likely not allow the person to have the opportunity to escape, as Leticia described being allowed to greet her stepdaughter upstairs before returning to the basement. See, the cop said what I just said. Most crucially, if Leticia's story was accurate, any responsible person would have immediately called 911. Holy crap, you guys, part fucking 3. I'm so sorry. You know, Willow's not even here. I think maybe it's the headphones somehow. I think they're fucking with the recording and they just shut it off on me. I can't believe I have to make a fucking part 3. I'm so sorry. Anyway, let me get right back to it. Oh, this fucking crazy bitch. So yeah, like the cop was saying, any normal person would have called 911, reported the home invasion, rape, and kidnapping of their child, but she waited until 2 days later. Of even more significance, Leticia said she cleaned up the area where the attack had happened. She straightened up signs of disturbances in Gannon's room and cleaned up the utility room. Investigators recovered cleaning supplies as well as carpet brushes, which contained the suspected carpet fibers. I submit that Leticia did in fact clean something up, but it was the murder scene of Gannon and not a sexual assault. Investigators took steps to corroborate Leticia's statements before dismissing them as false and misleading. For example, they reviewed video footage from a neighborhood security camera that captured the exterior of the residence and did not show a Hispanic male entering the home. Investigators did observe Lena arriving home on the school bus at 3:11, observed her enter the residence, and observed her riding her bike at 3:30. Furthermore, Leticia was offered the opportunity to have a sexual assault nurse examiner conduct a forensic examination at a hospital. Of course, she did not. She was given the opportunity to provide investigators with evidence that would possibly identify Eduardo, but she refused to cooperate. I mean, big fucking shock. She didn't want to be proved to be outright lying. Leticia described that she met Eduardo on January 26th, the date prior to Gannon's murder. She generally described a Hispanic male with brown hair and brown eyes, but could not provide any specific identifying information. In summary, she told investigators that Gannon had knocked over a candle on Sunday, causing the carpet to burn. After that incident, she drove around the neighborhood where residential construction was taking place and met Eduardo, who was working on a house, and asked him if he would repair the carpet in her home. Eduardo agreed, and Leticia provided him the garage door code, and they agreed that he would repair the carpet while she was shopping the next day. So you're telling me you drive around the neighborhood, you find a random dude, and you give him access to your fucking house? She's such a liar! First of all, Eduardo doesn't even exist, and second of all, that is such bullshit. I mean, nobody does that. Like, yeah, sure. The code to get in my house is LIAR, enter. And, yeah, you can go in there and wait for me in the basement and then rape me and ask me for a suitcase. Because that happens all the time. It's such a normal thing. Oh my fucking god. I apologize, too, that I keep on looking to make sure this fucking thing's still recording. I don't know what happened, you guys. I think it had to do with the headphones, though, because, like, the cat's not even in the room right now, so I don't know what the hell happened. I assumed it was her before because she was right here, and the camera's right here, but it makes no sense. Again, I'm just sorry about that. I hope maybe I'll be able to figure out how to smush them all into one file, but I don't know. I'm still really bad at editing. Alright. So, to the extent Leticia spoke about Lena, investigators were able to corroborate those statements, but never observed Eduardo or anyone else arrive or leave the residence during that time period based on the exterior neighborhood video footage of the front of the Stauch residence. Specifically, exterior video footage revealed that Lena was riding her bike from 3:30 to 3:42. The front door of the residence opened and closed at 3:28 based on data from ADT. I know from training experience that when individuals concoct lies most reasonably to conceal the truth, they oftentimes leave portions of truth within the lies. I submit that the statements Leticia made referencing Lena, the time period Lena was at the residence, are likely based on video evidence. Her other statements, however, are blatant lies designed to mislead investigators, obviously. Investigators also reviewed Leticia's phone records. Oh, this part's good too. During the time period of the alleged rape from 3:30 to 4:30, during this time period, Leticia had phone activity to include an outgoing phone call, numerous text messages to Mr. Stauch and Harley, namely to discuss purchasing a new set of headphones. These text messages occurred at 3:41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 4:11, 4:19, and 4:20. Yeah. So, I have a strange man penetrating me, but I'm gonna send some text messages to my husband, call my husband, hi honey, oh, ow, I'm being raped, yeah, sure, oh, but of course, she didn't say that on the phone, she was like, so you need some headphones, oh god, are you fucking kidding me right now? What a crazy bitch! I just can't with this woman. Alright. So yeah. Investigators were also granted a search warrant by the court, and it was served to ADT. That requested the data stored on the servers to the Stauch residence. The Stauch residence was equipped with a basement and living room motion detectors and contact detectors on the front door and rear door. ADT was in possession of logs that documented the time, date, and type of event that generated a log. For example, when either motion detector was activated or the front or the rear door opened and closed, there's a record of that. So, Leticia claimed that she was being raped in the basement from 3:30 to 4:30, but during that time, the back door of the house, located on the main level, opened and closed 10 times. Oh yeah, So, she was being raped in the basement, but, she had to tell him to hold on 10 times, so she'd go upstairs and open and close the door. What the fuck? I can't believe she thought people were gonna buy this shit. Alright. So yeah. Logs from ADT indicate significant activity in the basement where evidence suggests Gannon was murdered. For example, between January 23rd and January 26th, and the hours of 1500 to 1700, that's 3 to 5, the average number of basement motion events was 3.5. On January 27th, the average number of basement motion events was 10.3. Possible scenario for the increase in activity is that she was going upstairs and downstairs, getting cleaning supplies, cleaning the murder scene. Makes total sense. That's no doubt what happened. Towards the end of her interview, Leticia said she wanted to leave. Investigators seized her phone and detained her while they applied for a search warrant to obtain DNA collection. Leticia began stuffing tissue in her pants and said she was having chest pains and shortness of breath. I bet she was having a panic attack because she was about to go to jail. But, they called an ambulance for her. Investigators immediately requested medical assistance, and paramedics from Colorado Springs Fire Department arrived. Leticia had appropriate responses to their questions. I am aware that Leticia has made statements regarding Gannon's disappearance to individuals other than law enforcement, including, but not limited to, her friend, her husband, and the media. Indeed, some of those conversations have been captured and memorialized in recorded phone conversations and email messages. Leticia's stories have continued to evolve, and material facts continue to change, including, but not limited to, the identity of her attacker, the location of Gannon's abduction, and the details of her alleged rape. During her statements, Leticia did deny killing Gannon and provided explanations as to why there was blood in her Tiguan, blood in Gannon's room, and why she was in the area of Palmer Lake. Leticia was transported to the hospital via ambulance for medical assistance. Leticia was accompanied by detectives during her ride. Unlike questions at the EPSO by paramedics during the ambulance ride, Leticia was unresponsive to the questions by medical personnel and seemed to have a miraculous recovery when they arrived at the hospital. The ambulance ride was audio recorded, which was why she wouldn't say a fucking word. Leticia received medical care at the hospital, and the details of that care is not... Well, make that part 4. It's not the headphones. This time I happened to be looking when it stopped, and it said maximum recording time reached. I don't know what the hell that means. I went through all the settings and I reset the camera. So for fuck's sake, let me finish this. Jesus. I'm so sorry, you guys. I really hope I can smush these together because I don't want to do 4 parts. My God, I'm mad. Alright, so yeah, she got to the hospital, blah, 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 lied, wouldn't take any tests, regarding the rape, and, she was evasive, and particularly after investigators told her they were going to detain her pending the issuance of a search warrant to collect her DNA. Ultimately, the search warrant for the collection of non-testimonial evidence was signed and executed, but a second warrant for the completed SANE exam was initially authorized by the court, but then was quashed by the court. To be clear, Leticia did not allow the exam to be completed. That's the rape exam. Leticia was not in custody after the warrant was executed at the hospital. She left the hospital without telling the investigators. Then she made a phone call from the waiting room area. There was physical surveillance being conducted by law enforcement in the area, and investigators learned Leticia was picked up by an unknown person at the hospital who was reunited with her daughter several miles from the hospital. Although her behavior was not illegal, I submit that as pressure continued to increase from investigators, Leticia became more and more desperate to leave the hospital, likely because she feared being caught in her lies. Furthermore, Leticia did not want to pursue collecting evidence that might assist law enforcement in identifying and finding her supposed rapist. Investigators searched the Stauch residence several more times over several weeks after applying for and granted search warrants from this court. The purpose of these searches was to collect evidence, including biological evidence, in support of the captioned investigators. The forensic searches were conducted by the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab to avoid confusion. The January 28th initial search was authorized by Mr. Stauch, and he provided consent to search the residence. Not all of the evidence recovered is included below. However, the forensic testing results of several items, including a pair of Nike shoes, are discussed in paragraph 126. Gannon's remaining family members were living in the residence during the period of these searches, and investigators did not initially seal the residence off. Crime scene analysts from the Colorado Springs Metro Crime Lab reported to the residence and found traces of blood throughout the residence based on the Blue Star forensic latent bloodstain reagent tests. There was, visible blood in Gannon's room, in the garage, and in other portions of the home. Blue Star forensic stain has similar limitations to luminol, which has been described and discussed. By way of background, the location is a ranch single-style family home. There are 4 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms three bathrooms in the residence. Two of those bedrooms are in the basement, including Gannon's. Next to Gannon's room, there is an unfinished utility room, and on the other side of the basement, another bedroom and bathroom. There's a staircase with a small landing that allows access to the main level from the basement, and the garage is accessible from inside the residence. The Blue Star reagent was applied to Gannon's bedroom, the hallway leading into the utility room from his bedroom, the utility room itself, the staircase, and landing leading upstairs from the utility room. The pathway to the garage from the stairs, and the garage itself. Of all these areas, investigators found positive results for the likely presence of blood. Specifically, in Gannon's bedroom, in a corner of the room, investigators located an area where suspected blood had seeped through the carpet, through the pad, and stained the concrete. Furthermore, there was also bloodstains and projected blood splatter located on the walls in this area. Indeed, over 50 droplets of suspected blood were found on the walls near Gannon's bed. Crime scene investigators also suspected someone attempted to clean the walls based on the way the Blue Star reagent reacted on the wall. Gannon's mattress was also seized and contains a red stain consistent with blood in the same area as the stain on the carpet, and the blood cast off on the walls. The stains on the mattress were swabbed, but were not tested with Blue Star reagent. The laboratory results have not yet been returned, but because other blood in the area was determined to be Gannon's, investigators suspect the blood on the mattress is also Gannon's. And there's also 2 photos of Gannon's mattress, and they're not as black as the other ones. You can actually sort of see these. I think the camera might be okay, guys, now, because the top part where it says the time that I'm recording, before it had the numbers, and then there's another set of numbers afterwards. I think that was the limit. I don't know how that happened, and I'm so sorry. Alright, so several crime scene photographs that include the wall next to Gannon's bed and the carpet pad were blah 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 blah. She's just saying that she put these pictures in here. They also found in the wall socket, electric socket by Gannon's bed, there was blood behind the plate. Like, she didn't think to take it off the wall and clean behind. So they found more blood. And then there's a couple more pictures. Alright, here they're just talking about all the cleaning supplies and laboratory results. They took his toothbrush to, do the DNA. In summary, Gannon's DNA profile was found from blood samples taken in the garage, on the outside of the Nike shoes, and in Gannon's bedrooms. Now, it says Nike size 8.5, which I'm assuming are Leticia's shoes. Now, I'm a 6, so 8.5. I'm not saying women with 8.5 feet are, like, giant, but that's, like, on the bigger side, I think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but at first I'm like 8.5 Nikes, where I thought, like, are they talking about Gannon's shoes? No, they're talking about Leticia's shoes. Had Gannon's blood on them. Leticia's DNA was recovered from the interior of the Nike shoes. I submit to the court that the lab results tend to corroborate the theory that Gannon was indeed murdered in his bedroom, brought into the garage, and his remains in the Volkswagen Tiguan, subsequently to be disposed of at an unknown location. Alright, and that's a list of all the places where the blood was found, which I've already told you guys. I'm not going to read them again. They applied for search warrants for cell phone records for Leticia and Harley. They learned sorry. No, I've already said all this stuff, it's just repeating. Then they have a little snippet that's a conversation that she had with a babysitter, where it says, like, about how he was not going to school that day, but he's missing. Yeah, it's a back and forth with the babysitter. If I can find a clearer copy of that, I'll put them in the corner here so you guys can see them. Okay, So after they got the cell phone data, they found that Leticia had disconnected her phone from the cellular network on the night of January 28th. That's the night that they think she was out there dumping the body. And she stored several notes within the iPhone. The majority of them contained what appeared to be usernames, passwords, and insurance information. But then there were several notes that appeared to reference her unhappiness in the relationship and shed some light on potential household instability. She was able to review some but not all of the stored internet searches and the websites visited, aka all her stupid Google searches. She's not Brian Walsh stupid, but she's still stupid. Her and the shit that she's putting into the Google search, some of them are like, it sounds like statements more than questions. Let me see. Oh, also, between January 25th and January 28th, she was on websites associated with searching for a job in other states. She looked at Los Angeles, Orlando, Pensacola, Fort Lauderdale. She also looked at apartments and 2-bedroom rental properties in Florida, probably for her and Harley. Additionally, she visited a moving coast calculator website. And then her internet activity also captured the search for a rental car, and she visited Priceline on January 28th. And this is about the same time she got the Kia. And then for Google, okay, some of her queries, not all of them, but some. I submit that her search history is important because the history suggests she might have been struggling as a stepmom, and additionally suggests she was not happily married. While her search history alone does not provide motive to murder Gannon, it does shed light on her inquisitive thoughts and her position with the family memorialized in her search engine. I also direct the court's attention to the way that she sometimes enters the search terms. She hits the period instead of the space key multiple times, like I said before. And approximately 44% of the searches listed below this will be significant during the discussion of a search conducted on Gannon's phone, as well as discussed above, and will be further discussed below. There are other searches on Leticia's phone that have that period, and additional search history with over a longer time span does exist that is not listed below. Alright, so some of her Google searches. Find real military singles. Parenting should be 4 people, not 1. I'm over doing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help. Mom advice from stepmom. If you aren't involved in your kid's life, you are shitty. My husband's ex-wife does nothing for her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a card since I raise her kids. I wonder if my husband's ex-wife is sending me a Valentine's card since I raise her kids. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. Why should my husband choose me over family? Find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids. Find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. It's crappy some parents don't care for their kids or buy them presents. Parents are those who put their kids before their nails? Huh? What? I think maybe the real mom, or Gannon's birth mom, maybe she had nice nails. I don't know. I'm guessing. My son burned the carpet. How do I fix it? Will humidifier help the smoke? Smoke effects will humidifier help. Smoke from fire effects will humidifier help. Colorado law for kid starting at home? I don't know what that says. I think it says kid starting at home. School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone? Son is sick, but I have to go to work. Son sick. Can he stay home? Suede repair for sofa. El Paso Sheriff's Office number. What is the process for a runaway child? Police steps for runaway. Police steps for missing child. Today's flight. Something to something. I can't tell what it says. Can Nintendo find my Switch? Car, net, Volkswagen. They're asking for our son's toothbrush, but said nothing is wrong. So, like I said, not Brian Walsh stupid, but still not very bright. Find me a new husband. I feel like I'm just a nanny, not a stepmom. Husband uses me to babysit his kids. Are there any free money to move away from bad situation? My husband never posts anything about me, but does everything else. My husband only cleans up for the army, not me. I'm just a glorified babysitter. Find a new husband. Sent my husband sexual messages and he ignores them. What, like I'm getting raped? Made my husband want me more. I feel like my husband uses me to babysit. Find a guy without kids. Wow. Leticia Stauch's consciousness of guilt. During the first 24 to 48 hours during the disappearance of a child, it is reasonable that assumingly innocent parent or step-parent would be contributing to the search efforts and fully participating in the effort to recover the child. In the 24 to 48 hours surrounding Gannon's disappearance, Leticia rented a vehicle, turned her cell phone off for 4 hours the evening of January 28th, washed her Tiguan immediately prior to coming to the interview, evaded law enforcement's attempts to conduct a more in-depth interview, and did not participate in the search for Gannon. On Tuesday, between 8:48 and 8:54, she instructed Harley to pull your car in the garage, presumably to temporarily cover up any potential evidence. To be clear, Harley has her own vehicle that was mentioned above, specifically a Jetta. On January 28th at 4:04, investigators asked Leticia for Gannon's toothbrush, and at 4:19, Leticia did a search of her internet browser, the thing about they're looking for the toothbrush. Leticia has a conversation with Mr. Stauch. Leticia says, something isn't right, I think they're hiding something. Mr. Stauch says, who, the police? She says, yes, they asked for toothbrushes. He says, what do you think they're hiding? Also on January 28th at 10:54, Leticia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of this statement, Gannon had been missing for 27 hours, and Leticia believed she was the subject of his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement or notification as such. She says, what do you want from me because I have nothing? One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing and or am being set up. I'm not really even sure other than that being told by another blue with El Paso. I was told I couldn't go home and sleep, and on top of that, men were sent to a home with minor female and she was forced to stay there, not even leave for food. Every conversation that said, even at this moment, I can hear inside, what do you want from me? Detective said, come talk to me. I would just like information to find Gannon. After investigators seized the Volkswagen Tiguan on January 29th, she obtained a 2020 Altima. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant by the court to install a GPS on the vehicle. Investigators monitored this tracking device, which provided particularly useful information on January 31st. A map with some of this data is included below. The information will be discussed as it relates to the area of Palmer Lake and Highway 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County. In summary, investigators believe Leticia utilized the Altima to return to the area in which she had disposed of Gannon's body. Indeed, investigators recovered a piece of particle board from the area with Gannon's blood on it. This information will be discussed below. The fact that Leticia came back to this area on January 31st is significant, and investigators have not uncovered any evidence that Leticia has family or friends in the area or any legitimate reason for her presence in that area other than to dispose of incriminating evidence. A reasonable theory for the fact Leticia returned to the area based on the information presented in this affidavit is as followed. Leticia disposed of Gannon's remains at nighttime and likely was nervous about the location and chose and may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on January 31st, 2020, she went back to the area to view the area while sunlight was available. to ensure that no evidence was viewable from the road, to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection, and to see if any law enforcement was in the area. The exploitation of the Tiguan data. Investigators were able to remove a computer chip from the Tiguan, which was examined by the FBI. The FBI was able to recover data, raw data, which included but is not limited to the estimated location of the vehicle specifically related to the evening of January 28th and the morning of January 29th. The raw data has not been scientifically evaluated, and the raw data that was provided has not portrayed to be an exact representation of the vehicle's activities. Additionally, I have been told that the raw data has particular limitations, including the inability to show the exact location. For example, if the Tiguan was taken off-road, the raw data may not show that and display the estimated location on the nearest road. Furthermore, the estimated location may have some degree of fluctuation in accuracy, reported to be approximately 50 to 100 meters. So they took steps to verify and corroborate the data recovered, and were able to take some of the raw data, including location and timestamp, and compare it to other evidence. As with other forensic evidence discussed in this affidavit, investigators believe it to be reliable. So yeah, it's just saying how the car was, in that location off that road in this random area that she had no reason to be there, and that's probably where the body was. Investigators conducted several consensually monitored telephone calls with Mr. Stauch. Specifically, Mr. Stauch, at the direction of law enforcement, communicated with Leticia via telephone and email. They recorded the conversations. Oh, so he agreed to try to get her to talk, and they recorded her. So, for purposes of refreshing the court, here's a summary of some of Leticia's statements, whether to law enforcement directly through the media and or to Mr. Stauch in the recorded email and voice communications. On January 27th, she said Gannon left to play at a friend's house and did not come home at 6 o'clock like he was supposed to. On January 29th, she stated she was held at gunpoint, raped, and Gannon was abducted. Within Leticia's falsehoods, there are details corroborated by physical evidence that would be near impossible to know without being intimately involved in the murder. Leticia has made statements to explain blood on the walls in Gannon's bedroom, blood on the bumper of the Tiguan, blood in the garage of the Stauch residence. Details of the location of the blood evidence has not been released to the media nor to Leticia and has been closely held throughout this investigation. Furthermore, Leticia has continued to provide alibis for her physical locations and previously disclosed to investigators. Her statements continue to evolve in a dramatic way, and all are remarkably different from the original report. The majority of the conversations between Leticia and Albert began around February 13th. Over several days, Leticia's story continued to change. During a phone call on February 13th, Leticia stated that Gannon was burned by a candle to the point that his skin bubbled, and Gannon peeled the burns off and wiped his blood on the bedroom wall. Mr. Stauch did not ask about blood on the walls during this call. In fact, she provided information about blood on the wall, likely indicating her knowledge of the murder. On February 14th, Leticia had additional conversations with Mr. Stauch and provided 4 additional versions of Gannon's disappearance. 4 more versions. Now listen to this. Story number 1. When EPSO came to the house on January 27th, the abductor was still in her residence, and she tried to signal to them that he was in the residence. It should be noted that the detectives checked the entirety of the house, and there was no other person in the house. Story number 2. She was raped by Quincy Brown. Now she's raped by somebody else, this time a random black guy. First it's a Hispanic guy, then it's a black guy. What the fuck? Not only is she a crazy bitch, she's a racist crazy bitch. So, she was raped by Quincy Brown at her residence, and Brown abducted Gannon. She knew Brown's identity because she saw a paper, and his identification card fell out of his pocket that had his name on it. Yeah, okay. So while he was raping her, his license fell out of his pocket. Sure. Was she making phone calls during that, too? Leticia sent a photograph of Quincy Brown to Mr. Stauch via text message. However, the photo is from online, where he was listed as a most wanted suspect. Quincy Brown followed her from Petco and at some point was laying in the middle of the road in front of her car. When Leticia stopped to avoid running him over, he jumped in her car and made her take him home and then raped her. Okay, Diane Downs. You know, like the guy in the road. Leticia and Gannon were near County Road Highway 105 in northern El Paso, and Gannon was riding a bicycle and he fell off and hit his head and then was abducted by Quincy Brown. In this version, Quincy Brown was driven by a man named Terrence. On February 14th, 2020, story number 4 has several interesting considerations. During the period of February 12th to the 14th, it was public knowledge of the by virtue of the media coverage that investigators were searching for Gannon in the area of 105 and South Perry Park Road in southern Douglas County, near the El Paso County line. Leticia brought this location up on her own without prompt during a conversation and provided an alibi for why she was in that area. Leticia was adamant that the investigators' efforts to search for Gannon in that area would be futile. This area turned out to be significant based on the Tiguan's location on January 28th and that Gannon's blood was found in the area, you know, on that particle board. But that's because he was riding his bike and he fell off. What? Furthermore, as mentioned above, Leticia drove through this area in the Nissan Altima on January 31st. I submit that based on raw data obtained from the Tiguan, Leticia was likely in the area on the evening of January 28th, and Gannon's remains were dumped. And then Leticia's story lays the foundation for a reason why investigators may locate Gannon's body with head trauma. Oh, right, because he fell off his bike. On February 15th, Leticia provided additional conflicting stories to Mr. Stauch, including that the story she told him about Gannon falling off the bike was a lie because it was what she believed he wanted to hear. So she lied because she thought he wanted her to lie? What a fucking whack job this chick is. Leticia stated that the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of hers and Gannon's. In this explanation, she stated that the abductor anally penetrated both her and Gannon with an object. Oh my god, I didn't even know about that. Jesus Christ, it keeps getting worse. Additionally, she was tied up at some point in the abduction, and the abductor was still present during the police visit. So, Quincy Brown, age 37, was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list on February 10th. I was able to locate his photo on the news website where they described that Brown is a black male. It is noted that during one of Leticia's stories, she described her rapist as a Hispanic male. The photo on this website appeared to be the same photo she sent to Mr. Stauch. Brown has an outstanding arrest warrant for failure to register as a sex offender and failure to appear. These warrants appear to have been open since 2018. I was able to find a criminal history for Quincy Brown, date of birth 10/21/81, which included but was not limited to a 2001 arrest for first-degree kidnapping in El Paso County, which was pled to felony menacing. Investigators have uncovered no evidence to support that Quincy Brown was involved in Gannon's disappearance. So she told her husband it was a random black guy, and he laid in the road, and she had to stop because she almost ran him over, but when she stopped, he jumped in the car, took her home, raped her, stuck something in her and Gannon's butts, and then, was still there when the cops got there, and then there's another scenario where she took him out by that highway and let him ride his bike randomly because, oh yeah, we do that all the time. And he fell and hit his head. But then Brown shows up with Terrence and then kidnaps Gannon. Oh my god. And then she tells the fucking cops that it's a Hispanic guy named Eduardo who was working on houses in the neighborhood, who she gave her garage code to, who broke into the house and raped her. And while she's being raped, he lets her go upstairs and talk to her stepdaughter, lets her talk on the phone with her husband. She's sending text messages while he's raping her, because all this is just, so true. This woman we're almost done, guys. I'm sorry this is getting to be really long, but as I'm reading to you in my brain, I'm thinking about my editing software, and I think I might know how to stick them together. I think. Don't hold me to it, but I'm going to try. Okay, so as mentioned above, investigators began to focus a search effort for Gannon's remains in the area of 105 South Perry Park Road in Douglas County on February 12th. There's not a direct, exact address to reference due to the rural nature of the area. The particular location was deemed important because of the Tiguan and the rental vehicle. On February 15th, 2020, searchers located the particle board. The particle board had a stain that appeared to be blood, and it's pictured below. I've added a red circle to locate the location of the blood. The particle board was collected by the FBI, blah, 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 and it's Gannon's blood. And then there's the picture, which, again, is really dark. You can't make anything out. I mean, you can vaguely see the circle, but you can't see anything else. The reasonable explanation for the discovery of it was with Gannon's blood on it is she probably used it during the disposal of his remains. The area where it was found is rural, and the ground was covered in 6 inches of snow. Additionally, the area is rural in nature and is likely populated by wildlife, like bear, coyotes, and mountain lions. Gannon's remains have not been located, but while investigators will continue to search the area, it's possible the remains have been scattered, because of the animals. The below map depicts the area where the particle board was recovered, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and this shows, the map, which, again, you can't really see. Then there's some stuff that's redacted about the wiretap thing. Additionally, investigators were granted a pen, register, trap, and trace device order, GPS pings, and a cell sector information. They're talking about how they took her phone and monitored it. As during other portions of the investigation, Leticia continued to provide different stories to different people. She provided false information to her sister and other family members. Then she told different stories for what happened in Gannon. On February 16th, she told a female believed to be Tila Cummings that she has been giving Al false stories because she knows he will not believe anything she says. On February 17th, on or about 3:53, she told a female believed to be Laura Abernathy that she was thinking of flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test to prove her innocence. And she said they think I'm still in Colorado. She told an unknown female that she's going to take a lie detector test, but the test is not admissible in court. Oh, this part's great. She attempted to obtain fake polygraph results. Now, I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently, if you're a criminal, there's a website called fakepolygraph.com where you can go on there and make up questions, and you answer them, and then they give you a fake lie detector test that looks like you passed, right? But the company, if it's like something really shady, like murder, they won't give you the results. So let me tell you this. On February 18th at 10:14, Leticia called this phone number. I conducted research on the phone number, learned it was associated with fakepolygraph.com. During that call, Leticia stated she never got confirmation for the test that she paid for. Leticia provided the spelling of her name, and before disconnecting the call, an unknown male stated that he would resend her the results to her email. I reviewed the website fakepolygraph.com and found the following information. Get a fully verified fake polygraph test certificate proving you have been taking a real polygraph. Choose the questions. It's hard to read. Something and the results. We send you a fully verified report within 1 business hour. The fake polygraph results are emailed from a local and real polygraph company. If your partner calls the authentic company, our team will confirm the test results. You are sure they will believe you. Oh, so this is for cheaters, not for like murderers. Because it says if your partner calls, they'll say, yeah, that, you know, you're not lying. We have nationwide real polygraph companies in the following countries. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. I think it says US, Australia, something, in Canada? Whatever. Our polygraph reports are 3 to 4 pages and replicate a real report. The something polygraph company something and contact details are the fake polygraph test report. So anyway, she paid for this fake polygraph report, and they didn't send it to her. So, on February 18th at 11:16, she called them back. During this call, she said she still didn't get the email. An unknown male stated that her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions. He stated that with any illegal activities, they reserve the right not to send the report. Leticia's response was the following: well, what do you do now? Just delete it and go about life and keep the money? The guy said, yes, we do indeed. She said, okay, gotcha, thank you, goodbye. Investigations contacted Luke Devlin using the telephone number that Leticia called. Mr. Devlin provided the information to the investigators, including the questions and answers that she had provided. So here's what she said. This is what her fake polygraph said. Ready for this? Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson truthfully? Yes. Is your birthday August 1st, 1983? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. Bitch! What? Yeah! I submit to the court that if Leticia had nothing to hide, she would not have to pay for a fake polygraph test. Okay. I think I'm finally done. So yeah. Let me just ask you guys this. How the hell is this bitch and her lawyers going to prove that she is not guilty by reason of insanity when she managed to do all of this crazy shit? Yes, an insane person could not pull all of that off. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. So, I ask you again. What? So, this video is entirely too long. I really hope I can manage to edit it and get it all onto one file so that you guys don't have to watch 4 fucking videos. Yeah, apparently it was something wrong with my camera settings, because it's fine now. I guess I just had something happen. I maybe somehow switched the, I switched the settings somehow, and it was, like, limiting the time of my videos, which I didn't set it that way, so I don't know. But I had to, like, you know how you can reset your phone? Well, I had to reset my camera. So yeah, that's about it for Miss Leticia. And like I said, her trial starts today. Now that I'm finished making this video, I'm going to go on to the internet and try and watch, see if there's any, like, if I can hear the opening arguments or anything like that. I'm sure they're still there because Colorado's, 3 hours behind me, I think. And it's only 3 o'clock here, so 2, 1, it's probably noon there, and they're probably at lunch. But I'm really interested to see how it's going so far. I would love to know what this bitch is, looking like. Is she walking in there looking like a crazy person? She gonna sit there, like, while they're talking and pull an Aiden Fucci and be like, don't let the demons take my soul. Don't let the demons take my soul. You guys, you can't make this shit up. Some of these people are just out there. But definitely not innocent by reason of insanity. This chick is diabolically evil. What a horrible woman. Why in the world would you need to murder an 11-year-old boy? What could he possibly have done? But he burned the carpet. And oh, there's a video. And it's not, I don't know if there's any like picture to it, but there's audio, and you hear her telling him that he burned the carpet and they're gonna have to find some way to fix it because the landlord's gonna throw them out in the street, and he's crying hysterically. It was obviously an accident. I think she said he knocked over a candle, and he burned himself, and he popped a blister and wiped it on the wall. Would that really explain like a giant spatter? Because she shot him, she stabbed him, and she beat him in the head. And then she put him in a suitcase. Oh, I don't think this is in the affidavit, but yeah, she put him in a suitcase and she drove all the way to Florida and she dumped him under a bridge. And someone found the suitcase, the one that Eduardo asked for, and, found Gannon's remains that way. So that's how, they finally found him. But I think while everybody was looking, he was in the trunk of the Tiguan for a while she had that rental car and it was sitting at the airport. And then she took it out to that road where that S. Perry, 105 South Perry thing, where they found the particle board. And she dumped him there for a few days, but then she got the Nissan Altima or whatever, went back and picked up the suitcase with Gannon's body in it, drove all the way to Florida, and dumped him under a bridge that was like a mile away from the hotel where she was staying. What a psychotic and yet kind of stupid bitch. Yeah, so I want her to get the death penalty. I usually don't want the death penalty for most people. I find it's better and more of a punishment for them to have to sit in jail for their whole entire lives and just think about what they did. But this bitch, she doesn't even deserve to breathe the air that we breathe. She is an evil, evil monster, and she deserves to be dead. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know. I want to know what you guys think. I want to have some more conversations. Please hit me up in the comment section. I'm going to put in my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App here. This one was hard work. If you feel the need to, send me a couple bucks, right on. I'm not monetized. I won't be monetized for quite a while. Like I said, I only have like 96 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I need the subscribers. Please, please, please. I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. And I will see you in the next video. And peace out. Bye.